This session is not for people that are coming just to see what it's like. It's for active participants. So if you're unable to fully lay down or sit down and do the kind of like meditative exercise, please don't be here, because it's like, imagine being in a room. I mean, you could be very quiet, but if there's an environment around you, it's not going to be quiet, right? So imagine that we are doing a sacred healing session and everybody's quiet. And then there you are with your screaming kids and you're not doing it. You're just here, right? So be sure that you just come back and do this when they're not there. So be mindful of other people's energetic spaces in the space that you're in, okay? So what we'll do first is we'll do some breathing together. What I'm going to do, how this is going to go, is you're going to be sitting there, or you can lay down and just hear me talk. There's a prayer that I want you to have in your mind at any time you feel afraid, at any time you meet your former self, anytime you meet anybody or you see something, or like you're just doing this whole thing, maybe you're scared right now. I want you just to really get this in your heart and in your head is, please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you. And you just say that, okay? When you're scared, when you're anything, I want you just to always go back to that in breath work. If anything comes up and you try to resist it, meaning, Leanne, how do we meditate more? It's resistance and fear that won't allow us to go there. So you go back to breath. So if you're sitting there and it starts to come up and then you start, talking about it third person or see something or go somewhere else, come back to your breath. Okay. And I'll show you how to breathe. But you just come back to your breath, focusing on it. And then you ask the question again, as you just call it back up. Yeah. And it's safe. So it's just practice. The trauma brain likes to jump around. But that's what that's what I love guided meditations. I don't know. I wouldn't call this a guided meditation. This is really just to go see what that thing is that you want to remove. So the way that you can breathe, the way that I personally love breathing breath work, and I had a really bad deviated septum, is you could do a 4 count or 5 count, or even 3, but I love 4 to 5 count, breathing in, holding, releasing. So you breathe in for 4 to 5, hold for 4 to 5, release for 4 to 5. Just make them match. Okay. You can always put your hand on your heart, one hand on your solar plexus, one hand on your sacral, one hand on your heart, whatever comes through, like let your hands move where they need to go. Yeah. So if I was in a session with you one-on-one, I would tap into your energy and really give you specifically what you need for that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to do it yourself. Okay. So, but you have to be in a very relaxed place. You have to be in a place where you feel safe, meaning that nobody's going to interrupt you. You can just let go and kind of lay there. That's typically where you need to be. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking a few deep breaths with everybody. It's going to clear the energy in the room. It's going to clear your energy so that you can receive messages easier. There's a meditation that will clean that pipe out for you while you sleep. I don't know where it's at, but I'll have to go there in a minute. So anyway, okay, everybody sit up straight. And I want you just to start breathing. Okay. I just want you to take some big, deep breaths. Okay. So keep breathing this whole time through it. All your only job is to breathe. So go ahead, lay down, sit up. We've been doing the breaths. Keep breathing. Okay. Now, what I want you to ask yourself is this. I want you to breathe, and I want you to say, let me back up. When you ask yourself this, keep breathing and keep your eyes closed. Do not judge the first thing that comes up. I want you to know that the first thing that comes to mind or heart, you may see something, smell something, feel something. I don't give a shit what you think about what you see or feel. Tell me. Because that's the thing, okay? So just know that the first thing that comes, take a deep breath if you're scared of what may come. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you. This is totally safe. This is going to show you everything you want to know. And you're going to feel better afterwards. So I'm with you. We're with you. I've done this before, and it will actually feel good. Okay. So this isn't something that's going to jump out of the corner and scare you. This is all good. So I want you to trust the first thing that you are shown when I ask you, and you're breathing, show me where I started to doubt myself. When was the first time you started to doubt yourself? First thing that comes to mind, what is it? I'm going to ask it a different way as you breathe. When did I start thinking that I couldn't do it? Who comes to mind? Your aunt, your uncle, mom, dad, sister, something, an event. I want to know. Second question. What made me think that I couldn't do it? So now that you have that, keep taking breaths. Think some things are starting to come up for y'all. Yeah? We need to spend some time here because I feel like some things are starting to come up for y'all, and I don't want to go to the next thing. Because here's why. If you really want to get over this thing, we've got to go through it. And the only way through it is to fully feel it. Because back then, when this time happened, for whatever reason, we weren't able to fully express that emotion. Okay, we were not heard and seen, and or there was something that was off, and that's what we're having to do now is go back, and we're having to fix that so that we can end sabotage and get what we want. Okay, so let me go back, and I want you to fully feel that of what it feels like to, let me give you an example. I didn't feel loved. I wasn't supported as a little kid, and I was 5. I always felt like I wasn't good enough. I didn't feel loved. So close your eyes and breathe that in. Little 5-year-old feels unlovable, not loved, not important. Like fully feel that now. Jen said this relates to the last 2 jobs I've had. I've had to do things I don't want to do for others. Okay. So this is the I can't. We're literally clearing that out now. It's a wounded type of masculine energy, and it can also go feminine, because if you look at women, you know, women and our mothers and our grandmothers teach us we have to be perfect. Men want us to look like this. We don't want to age. We don't want to get fat. We don't want to get too skinny. Don't let them see you looking like that. Don't do that. Sit up. Just, can you be more quiet? Act like a lady. Don't do this. And, you know, growing up like that, there's no way we can be like her, because we're not her. We're me. We are us. So you see how the I can't start very early on, because we've been trying to make someone happy that's incapable. You know? Okay, I'm going to keep reading this. Let's go through this. I want everybody to fully feel their shit, and then we're going to get on the other side of it and clean it up and make some shit happen. We're making shit happen now, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, let me read this. My mom was in her 20s when she had me, and I was supposed to be aborted. There you go, Jacqueline. I can't. So if you were supposed to be aborted, your mother felt like she couldn't. Maybe you took that on as, I can't be loved. My mother can't even have me. I can't even make my own mother accept me. So that's a big one. So if you want to know why you're unable to move forward right now, it's because of this. That's a pretty big I can't. So fully feel that of an embryo that's supposed to be brought into this world joyfully, gently, gracefully, lovingly, is rejected, cannot be accepted. The mother thinks she cannot do it. So the baby doesn't know anything. The baby's just thinking, well, dang, I came here to be loved and want to love my mommy and want to just fully, and live this full life expression. And now I can't. I'm not going to be able to. That makes me tingle. That makes me itch. And notice anything in your body, because I must have some of that in me as well. I start to itch, and it's literally trying to come out of your body. So itch, you may want to jump, scream, cry, shit your pants, let it just come out. Okay. I mean, don't ruin your couch, but the I can't. Now you know where that little piece is coming from. Because if you go around thinking you can do everything and you can do it, what happens when you realize, like, well, this is fucking hard? You're going to come crashing down. Now you're going to try to deny the human experience, and you're not going to fully accept yourself. And then we get into wounded masculine, and we start burning ourselves out and sabotaging ourselves and under eating and all that stuff. So yeah, that's where I can't be weak. I can't be a girl. I can't show emotion. I can't, because I have to be can do. So let's call in some compassion. And let her know that she can be all of it. And all of it. Okay. I was pushed to do something I didn't want to, and I kept getting hurt. Yeah. It's just like, I can't make them. I can't, just might as well give up. And that's where depression and despair comes from. So we have that. You've already cleared the depression and the despair. Now you're moving into this. It's great. You're moving up that tone scale. Lacey said, yeah, I'm feeling it. Tears making me sick to my stomach. Good girl. I mean, because you knew early on that, well, two things. Your self-esteem is all in your gut. And if you were a small child and felt rejected and not loved and all the stuff, like, your parents are there to build you up. The world tears us down enough. Your parents are supposed to be there to build you up, and you didn't have that. So you see what I'm saying? And you can't stomach what's going on. I was always daddy's girl, and he was always depressed and absent no matter what I did. Then he died of cancer when I was 17 and left a big ass void. Yeah. So if he was always depressed, you were probably always trying to make him happy. And so you felt like, guilty, and that you should have been you should have made him have all of his dreams come true and all that. But really, that would have just made you the enabler. That would have just made you part of the problem. Because if you really loved someone, you believe in them. And you know that you can't do shit but help yourself. But you didn't know that then. So we have to be easy with ourselves, because we didn't fucking know. Jessica, I used to write it all the time as a teenager, and someone took my book and read it out loud. I felt like my voice was taken, and the first time I wanted to kill myself. Wow. So now there's a big I can't. I can't trust. I can't even speak up, because look what happens. Jennifer said, yeah, my mom was 19, had an affair with a married man, and denied my existence. Yep. I can't make life perfect. I can't, there must be something wrong with me, because my mom's fucking a crazy bitch and can't do this and just going on. It must be my fault. I can't make her happy, and that's my job. It's never been your job, but you've always thought it was. Rebecca, then my mom is from Korea, out of the country, and she was also depressed and absent. So once again, I can't make my mommy happy. All we want to do as a child is make our parents happy. Like, that's it. And learning that our brains aren't even, like, we're supposed to fuck up. Your kids are supposed to fuck up. Fucking up is part of the human existence, but we weren't taught that. And so we go around, we think, wow, okay, well, I can't do this or mommy will get mad, and I can't do that because daddy will get mad, and I can't be the person they want me to be. I can't be my brother. I can't do this. So now you see, is everybody kind of seeing where the self-doubt kind of started and how we made up the story? And the good news is that we made up these stories about ourselves and those around us. So we made it up, and now we can look back and see that it's not really true, that we were kind of on this artificial hook the whole time, but now we can be off the hook. Wow. Well, what do we believe? And I'm going to keep reading your stuff. It's important that I keep reading. Jacqueline said, it hurts in my chest and big tears. Good. That's your heart. Your heart. When I process big things, my heart starts hurting. And really it is things that are coming out, like worms coming out, like nasty, icky stuff coming out of your heart chakra center and opening up and clearing out. Keep crying, keep breathing, and just clear it out. Put some love in there. I mean, you're loving yourself now. You're filling up, and that shit just can't stick around because you're going back and you're giving yourself some compassion. You're showing up for yourself and you're feeling your shit, which is showing up for yourself, which is all that fucking matters. Because when you're there for yourself, as you can see with this exercise, you're there for your kids. You're there for everybody else. So can we reach our arms out wide and invite that age, that person, that energy into our midline, into that space in our hearts? If you notice they are scared because they don't trust you, let me know. If you feel like you can't do that, it just means we've got some conditions that we need to wipe out, because all you knew was conditional love, and we want unconditional. It doesn't matter if you spilled red wine on my white sofa. I can buy another sofa. I know you didn't mean to do that on purpose. Okay. My dad was an abusive alcoholic and very violent, narcissistic. I never felt safe at home, and all I wanted was their time and attention, but I felt neglected, not good enough. I know they loved me, but I felt unchosen. I still do feel that way. Like I can be passed up on, I'm not worth it, and I can't be loved. I'm with you, Sadia, like 100%. 100%. And, you have to process the grief and the loss of never getting what you're ever never going to get and what you didn't get. And realizing now that you made up all these stories because you were powerless. We were powerless as a child. I went over that yesterday. It is what it is, but now we're not. That's what Hot Moms is all about. Now you're in control. Now it's fair fucking game. No matter what you think, no matter what you think's up against you or who's jacking up gas prices, it's fair game. It's taking responsibility so that you can clear your shit and stop being victim of circumstance, which in this situation looks like your dad being an alcoholic, our mom's hating us and not, our mom's being in her shit and having bipolar or whatever. But now you've got all the support you need because you can create any motherfucking thing that you want. You created this experience. You're pretty powerful. So let's tap into that and be okay with self-doubt. Let's be okay with feeling self-doubt. Let's be okay with that, because you see now why we have self-doubt, right? Yeah, it's exhausting. She said, yeah, 100. And it living like that, Rebecca, it is exhausting. It's the core of adrenal fatigue. It's the core of why I created this whole course, because we were run on empty because of that wounded masculine energy of I can do and pull up your fucking bootstraps. I mean, I came from the same school of thought and I understand why, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't make up the fact that it is being, our bodies have taken score. Now there's adrenal fatigue and thyroid and weight problems, so we've got to go back, retrieve her when she believed that, because she's continued to believe that and it's not true, and recreate a new experience for how things get to be. And I'll tell you, when I did some retrieval on myself, my 8-year-old, and I started doing the work, my energy can be abrasive because I still have a lot of that in me that's kind of probably not good. but my energy can be very abrasive in a good way. I yanked myself over, like 8-year-old self over, and I was like, come here, we're going to do some Reiki on you. And I started doing some Reiki symbols, and she was terrified, like myself. I could just feel it at 8 and see her and everything. She was real scared, like, well, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do? And I'm sitting there going, God almighty, you know how we are with kids. Like, this is going to make you feel better. Fuck, shut up and sit down. We're to be seen and not heard, right? So I went back and I go, whoa, you can't, don't force this. And so I had to soothe myself, soothe my 8-year-old self, explain to her what this means and what this love means, what this new trust means, what this new support is going to look like for her, and remind her that she is awesome and powerful and can create whatever she wants. And she needs to just, the world needs more of her, and, you know, all this cool stuff. And she finally allowed me to give her energy. You can give your past former selves energy. Even if you were in embryo or whatever, you can send yourself love from here, from this time. This time doesn't really exist. Rebecca said, I had guilt about going to a friend's house and leaving dad alone. I was worried all the time. And then they didn't tell me he was sick and was gone in 3 months. And seeing that's the thing, is the guilt. Like, you literally have held this that long, when really, I mean, would you want your child to hold you this accountable for their well-being? I can't imagine. That's putting chains on my child. That is putting my child, I'm imprisoning him. We don't own our children. So you've been walking around in shackles and chains, okay, that they put on you, you know, unfortunately, like maybe unwillingly, unknowingly, and you allowed it. Now you have the choice now to say, well, I've got the key to unlock it. I'm deciding to unlock it. I'm deciding to free myself today and give myself the love to fill that empty cup, because it wasn't my fault. It just wasn't my fault. I was never supposed to be on the hook for that. I just wanted to feel safe. And it's okay to make a mistake. Now I'm made to feel parents will always save me. I felt urged to just hug myself as tight as I can, tell myself I'm so loved and it was not my fault. That I hug myself all the time, Lacey. It's so powerful. Hugging yourself, it feels so good and so supported, because you are your savior. Nobody's coming to fucking save you. Quit waiting to die for Jesus to save you. You can save yourself now. And when you do get to this place you're going, it's going to be a lot better. Morgan, my mom is an alcoholic, and she's not the mom she used to be, or the grandmother to my children I always thought she would be. I can't go to her for anything anymore. We used to talk every day, but now I have no desire. Good girl. My dad resents her, but won't leave her. Yeah. So Morgan, you just have to do what I did. And you have to grieve the loss of, act like your parents die. If you want to grow, you have to grieve the loss of them dying right now. Remove all communication from them for like 2 weeks to 2 months, because you're healing. And in that, you'll find out all your shit of, you'll feel alone. Good. Go get some help. You're chill. Oh, my kids need a grandparent. Oh, they do. Oh, you think you're just God. You're going to play God because they had you and now they're your grandparent. So you believe that you have to have them biologically to be a good grandparent. That's false. Because if you get out of the fucking way, God, universe, source, whatever you want to call it, it's much bigger. It is everything. And if you just get the fuck out of the way, you will be provided for. You will be provided a spiritual grandparent for that child that's incredibly better than what they're currently getting. And you're going to be more. So your kids won't even need a grandparent. You know, grandparents are there and aunts and uncles for resilience. Your kids won't need it, because you can give them everything that a grandparent could, and a nanny and people that genuinely love and care, versus doing things out of guilt and obligation. And that's so true. I'm pretty sure how I ended up with colon cancer at 32. Oh, 100. You know, and we're all going to die with shit. And look back and go, well, you know, did the best we could. But I have a whole different view on death right now. We'll go over that later. 3-year-old me staring at my alcoholic mother, just feeling alone and empty and worthless, standing at the edge of our kitchen, feeling hopeless and alone. Eventually, my adult self stepped in and scooped me up, hugged the little me, and the body went limp with relief. The adult me yelled at my mom, she's a baby. What the fuck is wrong with you? Grow the fuck up. Yeah, it's exactly it. I remember in a meditation when I did Bufo last, and I went right back to, I was probably your age, that three years old. And I saw it, and we were in the hallway, and I was like, yeah, you know, and just like that. And she had her back turned to me, and you just felt like so sad and so alone, like you're saying, you know. So it's fully feeling that. And then right after, I had the most overwhelming, you're so loved, but you're so fucking loved, you know, and that makes me just want to cry. The love makes us just bubble up. I mean, it's just incredible. The self-acceptance, that's my crew or crooks. I don't know what that is. You're using words over my head. Feel better? So yeah, self-acceptance is everybody's, because there's a fine line between having standards and goals and then also having those and being okay with not having it or having it because it means nothing about you, like not taking it personally. And that's hard for girls like us because we're so goal oriented. I mean, in our trauma, y'all, I'm so thankful for it because it has made all of us wonderful healers and wonderful people. Like, it has served us. Our trauma has served us. My trauma has served me because I'm strategic. People used to tell me, you don't always need a plan B. And I'm like, I see what you're saying, but you don't have the things that I desire, so I'm not going to listen to you. I understand the plan B. I understand trusting, but it's also coming from the school of thought. It's like entrepreneurs, where it's like, we don't have a backup plan because we believe in our vision and ourselves, and we're just tough ass motherfuckers. So my trauma caused me to where I couldn't trust the environment. I couldn't trust others, anybody. And I was all alone, turned into resilient as fuck, driven as fuck, hard, stubborn, and will just literally, when other people want to stop, I will create something to make it work. And it causes me to look ahead and look at my life and go, okay, I want that over there. Here I am now. What do I need to do to get there? And I do it. So my trauma did serve me, and your trauma has served you well. It actually helps you come up with a winning formula of life. Being liked, trying to get your mommy to like you because she was a fucking narcissist. That's a smart move on you're fucking street smart, because being likable sometimes is a matter of life or death. Do you feel me? Because this is a nugget. You going through your shit and having to do things to please others actually kept you alive at the time, which now, if you go in your current life, it's actually another winning formula, because if you're helping enough people, they will be pleased. Now, you could say that's manipulative or whatever, but there's two sides to every coin. Which side do you want to choose? You could be right there in the middle, right in the neutral side, but you see what I'm saying? Self-acceptance, man. Yeah, it's a big one. Give yourself some time. It's coming, but really go into the self-acceptance. Like, it doesn't matter how much you weigh. It doesn't matter what we're getting done. If you knew already right fucking now that you're fucking good, you're still a good person. You deserve all the respect and you deserve all the happiness, regardless of what's going on right now. And you're actually going to get to have it. So then what? Well, I guess I could just have fun today. Exactly. Thank you. Now you won't age as fast. Okay. Whenever you bring up what would you do with your child, what would you tell your baby? Do that for you is the absolute trigger for me. I always tell myself, I never want my daughter to feel like I have it hurt. So if you never want your daughter to go through what you've gone through, or your grandchildren, is you fix yourself. Because if our parents would have dove in and got really uncomfortable and sat with their fucking demons and shit and all the things that's causing them to sabotage, if they really sat in on that versus resistance and busying themselves with shit, we wouldn't be processing this right now. It would be a different issue. It'd be a different issue. You also have the core wound of not enough. So if you continue to feel like you're not enough, you're going to do things out of guilt and obligation every time. You're going to overextend yourself every fucking time. So you have to constantly ask yourself, if you know that that's a thing, ask yourself two questions. Well, what would make me enough? Probably need to go do that first and foremost. And then you need to ask yourself, well, what if I was good enough? What if I was being a great mom right now? How would I feel about being a mom? And you do that. Can y'all do that for me? Ask yourself those two questions, because when you feel like you're not enough, you're going to overextend yourself every time, and you're going to do things out of guilt and obligation, which makes you part of the problem. You're as bad as a narcissist when you do that. And I know you don't want to do that. So you ask yourself, what would make me good enough? And you do that. And if I was good enough, if I did deserve this right now, fully, well, then what? If I could just get to have all this and I could do it, well, then what would I feel right now? Well, good. And that's how I'm going to get to feel. Deciding that's how you're going to get to feel. What if I do not know what would make me feel good enough to be able to do it? You do know. So what would make you know that? Well, if you imagined, like, what would you imagine? You got an imagination. because you can imagine a bunch of bad shit happening to you. So if you could just imagine what would make you feel good enough, what would it be? So if you don't ever know anything, it's okay. Well, just use your imagination. Have fun with that, Walt Disney. Pretty sure he did. You know what shifting when you say things like, you are worthy, you deserve it. It makes me cry because I know, as much as I know I am deep in my heart, I still don't believe it. I put an awesome front on being confident and telling my kids how they are loved. But what the fuck? How do I get past that? You just keep feeling that feeling, because when you cried, you felt it. So keep doing the things that remind you of that. Keep doing the things that remind you that you are, because you're crying. When I tell you that you're worth it, is just, you're just moved. I mean, are you crying because you immediately start crying because you're like arguing with me? Like, no, I'm not. See, can't you see me? I'm really flawed at the core because somebody made me feel unlovable. And if that's the case, then go back through this exercise and pick out where that was and why you took that on, and then rewrite it and give yourself what it needs to feel the way you need to feel, healthy esteem. So, every time I've ever listened to a coach or a thing like this, and they say something that gets me in tears, it's just because it's so true. I'll never forget when I heard Amanda Francis say, and I've heard this training of hers in Money, I think it's in Money Mentality Makeover. Or maybe not. Maybe it's in Drop the Motherfucking Money Struggle or something like that. I had taken out that loan and I was, stressed. I knew I was working through something. And she goes, I just want you to know that anything you took out a loan for, you're fully fucking worthy of anyway. And I was like, fuck me up. But right when she said that, I just needed to hear that, So when you feel that way, Lisa, like you just needed to hear that and lock that in. And just lock that in. And then every time you feel whatever, just go back to and go, no, I know deep in my soul that is the truth. And then give your body what it needs that day to feel like it's the truth. Leanne, I started crying at the very beginning when I started deeply breathing. That's what happens every time I try to meditate. That's wonderful. You just need to allow yourself, just be with your feelings. Like you just need to sit there and let her cry. Hootie and the Blowfish. Let her cry. You need to just totally let her cry, because yesterday, like when I go back to my former self, sometimes that's all she wants to do. She wants to be held and cry. She just wants to cry, and let her cry. Be patient with her. See how you're like, why are you crying? You can't even do this right. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. That is right. There is no right or wrong, because you are a fucking human. You are crying. It is the natural, is the thing. Let her cry. Get it out and it will shift. And then after you cry, it's like the fucking rain in the sun. The sun comes back out. So let this come through you. Let this pass through you and feel it fully. And then go back to it. After you dry up, go back to it. Keep going back to her. She'll stop crying sooner than later, and she'll start talking to you. I have just recently realized I'm sabotaging due to an abortion I was basically forced into by my ex-husband. Suggestions on getting past it. And it's a wall for me that I can't break. I'm so sorry. I'm assuming the Roe versus Wade that popped up didn't help either. Not that I'm saying I'm for it or against it. I am in the middle. There's two sides to both those stories. But it was a hard week for a lot of women. I mean, I've been with a friend when she got an abortion. I took the after morning pill before, at one point in my life, I would have definitely gone in and gotten an abortion because of all the shit. But anyway, you were not forced into anything. So taking full responsibility and processing all the pain of you feeling whatever, but going back, like we did this exercise on, go back and find out when you felt like if you didn't do something, then you're cut off. Who did that to you? And do this exercise and go back and find out who that was. And then do this whole thing that we just did with your younger self, and you'll be able to process this current issue, because all of that is why you're led here. But it's cool because you're going through this now, because you finally get to rescue her. I think if every one of you knew, or like, what if every time you allowed yourself to sit with an emotion not for not for 3 days. You don't have to say, I can't do what Kendra's doing. Listen, just for 10 minutes, just for 20 minutes, just to, at the end of the day or midday, just to give yourself 15 minutes, maybe to sit there and breathe and fully feel what just happened. The conversation that went wrong, your husband looking at you a certain way, you flipping out on the kids, and just go feel that, or a deal gone wrong, and just go sit with it. And, or you could do the clearing thing and you're good. Like, I think it's just knowing that is such a good thing to feel our shit. So yeah, y'all did fucking great. Y'all did really good. So now, does everybody know that's here on the thing? Does everybody kind of have an idea of why you feel like you can't do things and why you doubt yourself at times? It's important that you understand where it came from so you can accept yourself and get better results. And also just kind of what we did, you can do anytime. And I left it here at the end if you want to end, because I know you gave me intentions. We just processed a lot. We did some retrieval, some inner child work, and bringing ourselves back to wholeness. And to end it, you can say, what does life get to be like for them moving forward? Like, go pull the person out that you did the work on, right? The 8-year-old you, the 3-year-old you, the 20-year-old you, the whatever, embryo, and tell them just in your mind, in your heart, in your whatever, what does life get to be like? Who's got them now? Like, you got them now. And even though you may not be perfect, and even though you may not have it figured out, but you know what? It gets to be this way. And it's going to be okay. Like, what would you tell them? They're going to get to hang out with you moving forward. So be sure to honor them. They may need a couple days. When I process things like this, I'm kind of blue for about 2 days. I'm kind of have some feelings of depression. The more you do cry and the more you process, you will move a little faster. Or take your time, go slow. Don't try to add extra things on. Just kind of like let yourself off the hook and have that attitude of like, it's okay, you know? So let them know what life gets to be like moving forward. You know, you've got 2 little girls. They're so cute and they love playing makeup, and you're just going to absolutely have the best time. Like if you have daughters, or you know what, you run a business, like you have your own store. And you get to sell things to people, and people are in your stuff and they love buying from you, and you get to have fun every day and all this. This is what you get to do when you grow up. Like, talk to her like that, or him if you're a guy watching this. Okay. Talk to y'all soon.